What up, everybody? Welcome to the IAG Thursday thing. This thing that we do every Thursday, and man, we are so on fire with doing this every Thursday. I'm so proud of us. Um, we were a little slow to upload last week. My bad. But we got her done.
That was
There's a lot of shit going on. Don't put it on yourself. You're fine. A lot of shit happened. A lot of stuff. Um, but yeah, lovely week. 1 week out of Grid Life Midwest Fest and Wicked Big Meat. We'll talk about that here in a few. And yeah, it's lovely early summer day. Joining us today, my usual partner in crime, love him to pieces. Warranty, how you doing?
Dewey, I'm doing all right. So my update for you is I went to Ohio with Sparkles for Memorial Day weekend and had a lovely time.
You drove
Ohio
the
is
BRZ
gorgeous.
out there, right?
I sure did. I had two bikes on the back, coilovers and nice tires, and drove the back way, I guess, which is through central Indiana into central Ohio. So it's all just
Okay.
state roads. There's no real highways. It's like Route 66 type deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty good, pretty good. Ohio is gorgeous. We did some nice bike riding. I got a 6 pack of Bud Light Chelada, which was simultaneously great and awful. It's
That's
essentially a Bloody Mary made with beer. Gross.
so gross.
But yeah, the car, we went out in the countryside. Half the time it was amazing, and then I'd get onto a country road that was a little too bumpy, and I'd hate life because my ribs are still hurting. But I'm beginning to think it's just me. Everybody else loves the car. So
What does
that's my
Sparkles
update.
think of it as it sits?
What's that?
How does she think of it?
Okay, so I've got two friends, and Sparkles is one of them, both of which don't like it just because it's totally not necessary. They liked the car before. She actually found the car uncomfortable before. She still finds it uncomfortable.
Well,
So
I'm
she's like,
sure.
"Why did you spend all this money?" She's not a car person. But okay, I'll
doesn't
give you a
understand.
counterpoint. I took my mom for a drive. My mom is nearly 70. She is not a car person, and she liked it better. She thought my car was more comfortable with the coilovers.
I,
So
I
she said,
exactly.
"Honey."
Your mom is great, by the way.
Yep. She said, "Honey, I think it's just your ribs."
I love your mom. That's right. We're also joined by Jordan. Jordan, what's up, bud?
Good. I got out of surgery on Friday.
Yeah? What are you missing
Yeah, I
now?
had LASIK. Nothing. Well, I'm missing glasses actually.
Oh my god.
Again, I had LASIK done, and let me tell you, my vision has never been this clear, ever.
Can you see into the future?
Yeah, not that good. I wish. Not. I don't got no 2010 or 5 or whatever. Just 2020. But I actually, it is my vision is super clear. Even with contacts, you couldn't get nearly this clear.
That's awesome. That's it's something
Very
I've
nice.
actually wanted to do for a long time. And then
Uh, yeah, it's worth it if you can afford it for sure.
it Randy made a hell of a thumbnail today, but we did get that photo. Thank you, Randy, for the thumbnail. But we got that photo from Mike Coons. That is Mike ripping around, showing off his flat Four Showdown sticker that was at CMP. Um, so I've been getting a lot of questions. So today is technically supposed to be kind of like news and updates and all sorts of stuff. So today's episode is probably going to be all over the place, but I don't know. This is the ones that you'll learn things that you maybe never realized you were going to learn. So you'll hear new things, learn new things. It should be a good time. Okay. So, um, he was out at CMP and showing off his Flat 4 Showdown sticker that he got from Subi Mods. And I've been getting a ton of questions of what the hell is the Flat 4 Showdown? And it's been a little bit hard to explain to people. I gotta be real. I'm gonna be really upfront with this. The name the name doesn't really match the initiative. Okay. But the name may be used later on for something else. Plans are in motion. So I think some of this was get some brand recognition. With some of it, because Showdown immediately makes you think it's a competition versus other Subarus, and it's not. Okay. The concept of this is to get Subarus to the track. It's supposed to be a cooperative thing. So long story short, the initiative is to get as many Subaru powered Subarus to the track as we can. Okay. And then the idea is to share resources, knowledge, maybe even manpower to a certain degree. Basically collectively push in one direction, try to get as many Subarus on the podium as we can. And it doesn't matter if you're running IAG parts, turn-in concept parts, out front parts, whatever, what coilover brand you're running. None of that matters. It's get Subaru powered Subarus to the podium. Okay. That is the root, the absolute root idea behind this whole thing. Okay. The idea, once again, it's to get all of us together. Whether you're track curious, you're an old ass grizzled vet and you've been doing this for years, maybe you're just starting out. If you're just showing up at an event to kind of check it out, or maybe you wanted to switch from something else to this, you've never done time attack, or you've never even done autocross. The idea is to get us all together in one spot and start trying to work in one direction as one big team. Okay. So that is the concept. Now they are giving away some money. Okay. If you are competing, if you're running the correct stickers, which you can get from Subimods, if you're competing in any class in Grid Life, it has to be a Subaru powered Subaru. So any class in Grid Life or the autocross at any of the Subi events. So Wicked Big Meat, Boxer Fest, Subi Fest Midwest, all of those all count. Okay. There's always an autocross at these, and if you're running the correct stickers for this, you get a picture of you running the correct stickers and prove that you were on track. You're entered into this, and at the end of the year, they're handing out $2,500 cash to somebody. It's a random person. You don't get extra entries or anything. You're not competing directly against me. A lot of people are like, well, why would I do this if I've got to fight you? I'm like, you're not fighting me. And honestly, I have the stickers on my car and I'm entered. If I win this for any reason, I'm just going to make them redraw. I don't want there to be any controversy about this. So, long story short, the idea behind this is something that Rick used to say all the time. Rick used to be the kind of the vice president of IAG, but Rick used to say a rising tide raises all boats. And it's something that's really stuck with me. And that is really the concept that Nick from Subimods and I have had this whole time. And if you guys listened to the podcast, I was like, I don't know, 20 ago or something, where Nick and I had a really great conversation about what we'd like to see for the future of this. This is the concept behind this, and this is how this is working. Long story short, if you want to support this cause, okay, you can go to the Subimods booth at any one of these events, okay, at Grid Life, whatever, at the Subi events, so like Wicked Big Meat or something like that. They'll have the stickers there for you, and there should be somebody there who's down to talk track stuff, and down to party with you. If you're at a Grid Life event, if I am literally not actively working on the car, I will probably be there to help you. We're actually going to try to be parking the cars at the Subimods tent. So we should be working on the cars there. So it might be a little chaos, a lot of stuff going on, but that's the idea, is to have it there, physically there, and that's where we work on stuff. That's the plan. Whether it works out that way, Grid Life Midwest is pretty crazy. We're trying to get everybody in one spot. I hope we can, but it's always quite the shit show. But that's the idea. Graham should be there too. That should be a lot of fun. We got a lot of people really excited and involved in this. I love the fact that Subimods has been bringing out Bucky Lassick to all of these. So Bucky's been at these. Bucky's super cool to talk to. He's just starting to cut his chops into Time Attack, and they're working that car out and trying to make it something. So got a lot of stuff going on that way too. It's getting there. Okay. Now this is really the prototype of all of this. There's things we still want to do, things we still want to see, and we're down to hear about ideas of ways you guys might think we could make this whole initiative better. Um, but what we'd love to see, and this is there is nothing on paper about this yet, but the long-term concept is we want to see a Subaru Motorsports oriented event, a national level Subaru oriented event, something like a Subinats US. I would like to see a drag racing portion of that. I would also like to see maybe a rallycross portion of that. So we get all of it in one spot and we bring everybody. I think we're getting really close to this being a thing. And the annual pilgrimage to see cool Subaru shit may actually come to fruition. We may get to see this in our lifetime. Warranty, are you just a little bit excited about that?
Yeah, more than a little bit because you've been yelling about it for a long time, and now you've got people who agree with you and want to see it happen. So it'd be lovely to get someplace in the center of the country, get all the fast cars out, and just kind of have a party and see who's fastest.
I like how Josh Aldrich is just like, why not just do it instead of talking about it? I can't just do it. The amount of funding that takes is crazy. Long story short, if we're ever gonna make that happen, it's going to take Subaru involvement, like legitimate Subaru of America involvement, I think. It's that, or we're gonna have to get everybody to agree to start a small event and grow it into something larger. Um, I still think it could do it. Mary, where do I have to put stickers on the car? It's front and rear bumper and small ones on the side. The front and rear bumper ones are not very big. They're not very big. And then we'll have stickers like supporter stickers. So let's say you can't make any of these events this year, but you want to like support in some way. Nick is looking at having those ready for Wicked Big Meat and Grid Life Midwest. So if you just want to support the cause, you can grab one of those stickers too. So the supporter stuff, yeah, you should be able to get that no problem. He's working on that right now, Mary. I'm excited about it. Like I think this is all going in the right direction. I think it's a positive direction. There's also some other stuff coming from Gridlife from Subi Mods for Grid Life Midwest that's probably going to blow some people's minds. And all I got to tell you is you guys need to come ready to buy a t-shirt and get there early because they're going to sell fast. Hint, hint, wink, wink. It's going to be sick.
Hard to get the cool kid t-shirts sometimes. So yeah, buy it before it sells
I
out.
can't. They were not able to make a bunch of them in the time they needed. So there's not going to be very many of them, but I'm going to tell you, like, you need to get there early. If you show up on Saturday, they're going to be gone. Like, this is going to be Thursday's probably going to go through half of them. You need to.
Well, I'll be there on Thursday.
Yep.
Or worst case Friday morning.
Yep. Nick wants to go all in on it. I'm really excited. So
Nice.
um
Yeah, I like it, and I like that you're building towards something even bigger, which is the nationals level event.
that's
So
that's what it's going to turn into is like we don't want Subaru on Subaru violence when it should be Subaru against the world. And then we can get it out of our system once a year in one location.
yep,
Now,
everybody shows up, and if you don't show up, you don't win.
it might turn into something that what I don't want to see is it turn into a sub. There's talks of it turning into maybe like a subcategory within Grid Life, and maybe we could do something like that. But I gotta be real. I would much. I think we need to work towards it being its own thing. Um, I
This is the first I've heard of it. I like that idea just as a stepping stone. And then if it explodes and there's like 100 fast Subarus that shows up, then yeah, make it its own event.
the problem
But
is
Grid Life is kind of the sun.
you're gonna have a really
Where
hard time getting people that close to the sun when all they're trying to do is run their stage 2 WRX. You get what I'm getting at? Like, it's
Yeah, but
already
there's
hard
no
enough for
point.
people to get tickets to a grid life event. I think that's what's going to hurt it. It's really
If
hard to
it's
get tickets to just a normal grid life event.
Yeah, actually, even if you were a serious hitter, serious player, it'd be hard to get tickets to Grid Life. So
Exactly. So
it
if you're
impacts
coming from
everybody
like
up and down.
NASA or something else, that normally wouldn't run a grid life event, you're going to have to kill yourself to get a grid life ticket. Most of them, like for
Yeah,
grid life Midwest, they're all sold before you get a chance to even before general admission, gets a chance to try to buy one. The normies that want to buy one event, there's like 5 tickets left by that point.
yep, yep. And the rest of them get sold on Facebook Marketplace when people can't show up because their car breaks or whatever.
I tell everybody this. I tell everybody this. If you want to go to an event, it's easier to buy a ticket 2 days before the event than it is 2 months before the event.
Yep, that's true. I've seen it
It,
a
you
billion times.
if you want to go to an event, just assume you're going to get in. If you show up, somebody won't.
Yep. So what else do you want to say on this topic? I think we covered all of
I
it.
think we pretty much hit that. I just, people are really confused as to what it is, and really, what it really boils down to is just we're trying to share resources and knowledge and anything we can to push Subarus to the top. We really want to try to network with each other and try to get as many of us in one area so we're all helping each other go faster. We're all down to share data, tuning concepts, anything we can, have each other looking over each other's cars. What are you guys using for tire pressures and stuff like that? Let's work together. If we can all go faster together, that's we can really show what this platform actually can do if we do it in one unison, like one big push. That's what we're trying to get together. Like if you're, it's all of us versus the world. It literally is Subarus versus the world. We want you to feel like that if you're driving a Subaru powered Subaru. It becomes a net gain for you to drive a Subaru powered Subaru because you have this support base. So there you go.
Yeah.
So speaking of trying to motivate people to do cool stuff, I kind of want to make an update on Travis Pastrana's like new stage rally build that he just recently put together. So they did a VB WRX limited build. So this is not a open class build, it's limited. Long story short, you're not allowed to do a whole lot. Okay. I think they got to breathe through a turbo restrictor. The engines are not super crazy. It's still on a FA24. Like it's pretty straightforward. They did do I'm pretty sure it's on a dog box transmission. I don't think it's a sequential. I could be wrong on that. But they did build the trans in some way. But long story short, the whole concept of this is one, Travis just flat out admitted that Brandon Semenok kind of just ran him out of open. Like there was no prayer. He's like, he basically said, "I'm not willing to go that fast anymore. Like it's too much in the back of my head
Yep.
that I'm gonna die." And I get that. Okay, so what he did is he dropped down to limited, and his concept is to build a car that's much more approachable, and that somebody with maybe outside of the country could go to Vermont Sports Car and say, "Hey, I want to run a season of this," and it wouldn't be astronomical like it would be with running open, because those cars are crazy. And if you wad it up, it gets Looney Tunes expensive. This is significantly cheaper. It's a lot easier to maintain. The car is a bunch cheaper itself. It should be quite a bit simpler. But not only that, let's say you're not with Vermont Sports Car, building a competitive car within that class makes more sense too. So you're going to get people with other manufacturers are going to come in and start the fight there. The problem is open is it's kind of ran by Subaru at this point. Like there's nobody's willing to pour the money into it that Subaru is, and the car is so crazy developed that who else is going to actually fight with them? You know what I mean? Unless you're going to
Yeah.
buy a leftover WRC car, that's the only thing you're even going to get within like 30 seconds of them by the end of the rally, and that's brutal. But limited's not like that. The rules are a lot more chill. The cars are a lot more chill. The speeds are a lot more chill, and you have a smaller outfit could build a limited car that could hang. Different manufacturers could build limited cars that could hang. So Travis is trying to build up limited. And his whole concept is like he'd like to see more bigger names in other rally organizations, and other people looking, rally curious people from within the country and outside of the country come cut their teeth in limited, and it turned into kind of a war zone, and I think he's going the right way. I think it was one of the smartest things anybody's ever done. I got to be real. I think it could really turn into, if it's pushed the right way, it could start looking a lot like Group A did back in the mid '90s, which would be sick.
Production derived.
Yep.
Yeah.
How cool would
We
that
need
be?
better coverage. We need better coverage in America.
Hmm. You need
I
people
want
to
to be able
care
to watch
for
this
there
thing.
to be better coverage, but you also need better coverage for people to care. So
Yep.
these days, I think somebody's going to have to take the risk and make the better coverage. And I think with a name like Travis Pastrana being a part of that, I think they might get that coverage. You know, I think us as a Subaru enthusiasts, we're gonna eat that up. Okay. But what they need to do is figure out how they can get like Volkswagen Audi enthusiasts to care. How do you get these other manufacturers? I want to see Toyota, like GR Corolla guys, care about this. How do you
Yeah.
get
To be
them really
fair,
amped up?
there were other auto manufacturers involved in spending money in what was it, Red Bull Rallycross or whatever American
Mhm.
Rallycross was called, and that turned into a war zone for a while, and then it died. Too much money, I guess.
Oh no, there's a whole lot to that. There was a lot of bills that didn't get paid. That
Okay.
was screaming red hot, and those that were running it, um, basically didn't pay for a lot of venues and wrote a bunch of checks. They just decided to not back up and all sorts of shit. And that went sideways really bad. I actually watched a little mini documentary on it the other day. And it's a shame because it was going really well and people were watching it. And it was something easy you could package and maybe stick in front of you could put it on the infield of a NASCAR event and run it the
Yeah.
day before the NASCAR event and get huge crowds to watch it. And the cameras are already there. So it's super easy to just turn them around and watch that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they had a lot of really cool things going on, but it sounds like the promoters either didn't know how to handle what they had built, and like it grew too fast for them to understand what they were doing, and or they were just kind of sketchy. They thought they had made it and really
Mm.
didn't. You know what I mean?
Wasn't it multiple promoters? I thought it was two, and both of them didn't last more than a handful of years.
It started X Games started it, okay?
Right.
X
Way
Game
back in the day.
way back in the day, and that's what kind of got people a little interested in it, but Red Bull threw the money into it. It was Red Bull Global Rallycross for when you learned of it, and it was really popular. They were running races at SEMA, and you had like Ken Block and all these other guys running it. Um,
Right, right. And then
yeah.
after that, what? Oh, Nitro. I'm thinking of Nitro Cross,
So
but that
Nitro
might still be
Cross,
around.
well, no, it's not. It's all dead. Then you had Travis tried to save it. Okay. Travis did this thing called Nitro Cross. Well, first off, global really, or the Rallycross organization, the prices kind of ballooned for the the cars, but one of the big draws to it was the crazy ass cars. But the prices were ballooning, and what they were thinking is, well, we could make more of a spec car. So they tried to go to these electric cars that nobody liked and people stopped watching. And
Okay, so it looks like Nitrocross is still around, but the last 2 years have been those electric SUVs. So maybe
well,
it's not long for
Nitro
this race.
Cross is gone now. They made an announcement they're done. Travis
Oh,
had tried
okay.
to save it, and it was running basically open class rally car style cars. Okay, like and those nitro or the electric cars. Okay, and unfortunately, they just really couldn't get that off the ground and running. Travis had a pretty interesting spin to it because he made the tracks much larger and a lot faster with like a lot longer jumps, and some people were a little weirded out about it. Um,
Yeah. All right. So I'm looking at Wikipedia. Global
yeah,
Rallycross failed, and then it was America's Rallycross Championship also failed.
yeah,
Then Pastrana
ARX.
set up not yes, and then Pastrana set up Nitro Rallycross, which was renamed recently to Nitro Cross, and then they jumped the shark with the electric SUVs, spec cars. So Nitrocross is the third incantation. It is what was saved by Travis, and it's I don't know, man. I don't know the future. I hope it works, but it's EVs. We'll never know.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Honestly, I loved watching rallycross. It's the perfect motorsport for this day and age because the races were
Yes.
like 6 laps, okay? And there was constantly shit happening. Stuff was jumping, cars are bumping into each other. There's dirt, there's pavement, shit sliding
Yeah.
around. It's chaos with crazy amounts of horsepower, and it was very easy to take somebody who had no idea about motorsports and they could watch that and go, this shit's awesome. And
Yeah. It looks like RC cars. It looks
yeah,
like it's
it's
not real
crazy.
because it's so intense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nuts. And I wish they wouldn't have screwed that up because I think it would have I think it could have grown into something insane because it's still huge. Rallycross is massive in Europe still. Massive in Europe.
That's good.
There's dedicated
Yeah.
rallycross tracks built all over the place in Europe. Like that's what the facility is a rallycross facility.
Yeah. I knew that. Yeah. So, well, going back to the limited four-wheel drive,
Yeah.
I like regular rally. I haven't watched it because there's not good coverage, and it is a little bit more boring compared to rallycross and drifting and these more modern
Well,
motorsports. So,
this is the problem. It's the same problem with Time Attack. Okay, it really is. Like, it's how do you make this digestible for somebody who thinks rallycross is awesome? You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and
totally.
what you need to do is the same thing they did with Street Outlaws, and they made drag racing awesome. Okay, you
Yeah,
you don't show it like it's ESPN coverage of an event. You show it like it's a reality TV show. The stories are what make this interesting. Okay, you have to follow the stories and you're going to pull the action snippets out and why these are a big deal and make them care about the people behind it, not just the car. So Rallycross, you didn't have to know any of the drivers to still have a really good time watching it. And then once you learn more about the drivers, you cared even more. It's kind of the opposite with this. You have to really really care about the driver, the program, learning about the car, whatever, but you need to really be invested about the story of what's going on.
yeah. I think the other problem is that we've got live sports, and technically we've got live motorsports as well,
We do.
and then we've got YouTube, and there's nothing in between. There is no like professional episodic content anymore, other than I guess Netflix TV shows, which I don't care about because I don't watch Netflix. But like, there is nothing produced for rallycross or for
Stage
stage
rally,
rally.
I think would kill it if they did it right.
Yeah.
It would
So
kill. It would kill if they did it right. It's just they don't know how to do it right. And it's the same thing. I'm going to scream this again. If Discovery were to come down and follow Time Attack, okay? Follow Time Attack the same way they follow Street Outlaws. Okay? They have their set people in each class that they know are going to be there for the full season, and those people know they're going to be on the show, so they're signing up for the full season. Like you have
Yeah.
to be there for the full season. Like you're basically putting some people under contract. And
Yeah.
follow it like
Dude,
that, the content would write itself.
Foster did such a good job with South Carolina, the recap of your weekend. I was not there. I've been to a million of these weekends with you over the past 10 years, and I felt like I was there. That was exactly how it was if I was actually there. Foster did a great job on that video. Like even more of that, man. Give me something.
No, and that's what we need. But we need that's trying to cover a lot of things. You know what I mean? But that's what they need. That's exactly what they need. I think one of the advantages they had to something like Street Outlaws is a bunch of the garages were within 100 miles of each other. You know what I mean? Gonna be a little
Yeah.
harder to do that if you're talking time attack garages that are all over the damn country. But you could sub out some shit, hire some people, tell them what the kind of video you need, and they can chop it up and make it work. And there are other shows that have done that.
I guess that's part of what I'm getting at, which is I'm surprised Discovery doesn't like spend a little bit of money on this and sub out, let's say, some YouTubers to
Yeah.
go to your Tennessee place. Like get a YouTuber who's in Tennessee somewhere who's got a portfolio that qualifies, have Discovery pay them, make an episode. Discovery can cut it up. I don't know. And then that
Just
way they
get the
can
type of
they can
footage
go
they need.
lighter.
Like we need this, and then you have
Yeah.
one guy that's directing it up at the top, and
Yeah.
he's going, I need a this, I need a this, I need a this, and I need a this. I need you to go film all of this on this team.
Yes.
Okay. And,
Yes.
and
The
we'll
amount that
cut
has
it
gotten
up.
yeah.
But I need like 20 minutes of them just randomly working on shit. Okay. And in that,
Yeah.
try to find some humorous human shit. Okay. And then
Yeah.
that's even there's going to be contrived drama. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. We couldn't get apart. It's going to be something really stupid. This
Right.
really crazy bolt we can't get, and they're going to play really dramatic music. And really, it was like I had to go
Right.
to the other AutoZone. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what it's going to be. But people are going to get amped up about it. I don't.
Right.
The
Like
story is there. Is what I'm trying to get at.
yes. I'm just saying that the amount that gets done by like Smedia and Rob
Mhm.
Dom, like it's a dude in a garage and a couple of cameras, probably a little bit more than that, but not that far, versus television stations, which are dinosaurs.
I
And they're
agree.
just not getting enough done. Like there's got to be a happy medium there
Dude, you
too.
just made Smedia's day. Tanner is in the chat and he's going, "You just compared me to Rob Dom. It's the greatest day of my life."
Dude, I'm telling you,
But
like,
it's I think Smedia doesn't get enough credit for I think he's done really, really great content. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think you and Rob Dom have a lot more in common than you think, because you guys are both willing to show yourselves fucking up. And it's what makes you great.
yeah.
But I agree.
That is television to me. Like
I-
what they do is television to me. I click on YouTube, I go, all right, it's a 30-minute video. Dude
Because
thrashing on a car.
you're late stage millennial, early stage Gen Z, and that is how you digest content. You don't tune into, you don't watch
Television is dead,
TV.
man.
You don't watch, I bet you couldn't tell me a single thing ABC has on during prime time right now.
I don't. And yeah, I can't. I can't even tell you what's popular on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's got to be a medium in here for like. Clearly, a lot of people care about time attack. It just needs to be filmed in some kind of organized fashion.
It's in what makes time attack great is the majority of it isn't happening on the track. Okay. And it's the same thing that Stage Rally, the stuff that makes Stage Rally great, you aren't seeing it, or it's not happening on track. The stuff, it's hard to show certain things as a live sport, but you could cut it up in a way to explain why this is important. You know what I mean? So, Merrifield, nerds. Mary, we're just old.
Yep. So, all right, I think we've covered that pretty well.
Yeah.
What's next on your list?
Oh, what do we got? Did you know next week is the largest Subaru event in the country.
Sure did,
It
because
is.
you told me right before we started this episode.
It's true, but Wicked Big Meat's massive. Okay. This is the
Yep.
largest Subaru event in the country and has been for very long. For as long as I remember, it's huge. Wicked Big Meat's been going on forever. It's now a Subi event, but even before then, it was absolutely massive. Um, it's up in Connecticut. I could probably get you the exact location, but you could look it up. It's very easy to find on social media. You go to, Wicked Big Meat. I think it's wickedbigmeat.com even. But it's a giant Subaru event. Everybody's going to be there. Pastrana will be there. Bucky will be there. They're going to be doing donuts and stuff. We talked about it earlier. You can go do autocross, and get in on the Flat Four Showdown thing. Most of your large vendors are going to be there, including us. IAG will be there. Subi Mods will be there. Like any suspension and engine brand manufacturing kind of thing, they're all there. Most of them are running big sales, including us. I can't talk about what's on sale or how it's on sale or whatever, but I can tell you there's never been a time where we have went to Wicked Big Meat and there hasn't been some badass deals. So if you are looking to purchase some stuff, if you're physically at Wicked Big Meat, it's probably going to save you some money. But Wicked Big Meat is awesome. It just sucks that it always falls over Grid Life Midwest. Last year it didn't, and I got to do both. So I got to experience Wicked Big Meat last year. And I'm not going to lie. I was like, yeah, this is a pretty big thing. There's a lot of people here. I can't believe like what's going on. And then I decided to help a dude carry his engine that he bought from me out to his car in the parking lot. It was a part of the deal. I'll take it out there for you.
It's a big event. It's a
That
huge
was a
parking lot.
Fuck up. We went damn near a mile to get to his fucking car. Holy shit. Oh my God. I'm still sore.
Every time I hear this story, it's the best.
Oh my God, dude, I was dying. That was such a bad idea. And he was way out there, but I walked it all the way out there. And I hope this year they listened and bought a roller cart or bringing something with, because that's the best way. If somebody buys an engine, they're thinking about, man, I got to take this out to my car. Like, take that problem away, and it's going to make it a lot easier for them to purchase an engine. Just get a roller cart with the inflatable wheels, the nubby wheels, the pneumatic, like just squishy wheels, so you can pull it through the dirt.
Cart wheels. Yep.
Oh, Stephanie, OGest listener ever, is in here. Hey, Steph, what's up?
I know you have to pick one, and so you're sad to say, but you do have to pick Grid Life Midwest, which is also
I can't not miss Grid Life Midwest. One, it's Grid Life Midwest. That's like our Daytona. That's our Monaco. You can't miss that. I love that
Daytona, the Daytona of Time Attack in America anyway, happens in Western Michigan. In a nice, farm town. It's a nice vacation town. There's an ice cream shop. It's lovely. And it's close to Chicago.
It's a farm track. Okay, let's be real.
Yep.
But it's
Daytona.
It's a crazy event if you've never been. And it sucks that I have to pick between the two, but I can't miss that, especially with the amount of sponsors and stuff we have behind them. I can't. Every few years I get lucky and they switch the weekends. They'd be really smart on switching these weekends. One or the other pick. I wish Subi events would move it off of Grid Life Midwest just 1 week earlier or 1 week later, and then it would be so much easier for me to do. One of the things I want to do is I want to organize a convoy from IAG to there. Like, I think it'd be sick, and then maybe we convoy up and do Subi Mods the night before, and then we all go together. But I want to do like an old school, like 100-car convoy up there with just like a shitload of Subarus cruising up the highway. I think it'd be so much fun.
That's a great idea. I love it. I love doing those cruises. Kim's in the chat. Kim's in the chat saying that would require you being on time. Yep.
Hey. I don't want to hear it.
Oh my God, that's so good. I will be there, Dewey, at some time. I'm sure I'll have to bring you some kind of car part from Chicago, and I won't hear about it until I'm already on the road.
Well, that's how it works.
To come back, but
we're getting to the point.
We're
getting quickly to the point where you can't just buy parts for Boogie anymore. It's so much
Well,
is bespoke and weird on that. I mean, we got
what we
weird
learned a
everywhere.
couple of years ago was that you can buy it. It's just not for a Subaru anymore. It's for a
Y-
95 Celica or something.
Really,
But
really, what you need to do is you need to have a conversation with our boy Jeff, and he will just fine tooth comb some random catalog and find something that'll work from some random Toyota from 91. Um,
it was amazing. I mean, I've been, around for so many years, and that was the coolest story I've ever seen in the last 10 years, which is Jeff just opens a catalog, a paper catalog, and fixes your problem. And
yes,
then I drove like 50 to 100 miles to go pick up the parts. And
and
then you won the weekend.
we won. It
You
was
won the event.
crazy.
Oh my God. Kim gave me a hug. I'm not a hugging person, really. Kim, I don't know. Kim gave me a hug, and I still remember it because I was like, this is spectacular. Not the hug was fine, but like the event, the energy at the event
Yes,
was so good.
absolutely incredible. It was so high, so low, so high.
Oh my God.
It was
Oh my
I don't think
God.
I've never experienced that and probably never will. Okay, like that was a different type of
Yeah.
high, but
Yeah.
um so we got a couple of people talking. They're asking about the end of the month event. What you're talking about is Summer Apex, and that is Road America. And if you
Oh yeah.
go
Road
to
America.
Road America, go to that event. If Midwest is insane, okay. If you ever get a chance, you have to do it at least once. But go to fucking Road America. That event is getting so damn good. It's going to be incredible this year. So yeah, it's going to be really great. If you're trying to go to your first Grid Life event and you need to pick one, honestly, it's not Grid Life Midwest. It's Road America. It's Summer Apex. Go to that one. Go to that one
Oh,
for your
you don't
first event.
say. That's saying a lot.
It's dude, it's so good. And then if you really if then you go, man, this was great. The party environment was awesome. I had such a good time over there. You need to go to Midwest. If you're like, man, this was great, hanging around with all the cars. I like seeing a lot of different stuff and talking to people from all over the country. You might want to check out Circuit Legends.
Yeah, I want to go to Circuit Legends, dude. I've got a friend who lives in Connecticut. He can tell me all the cool back roads.
It's cool.
Oh man, that's all right. So just going back to Road America for a second. So it's in
Yeah.
July sometime.
Yep.
I'm gonna be there. Like you've officially hyped me up over the limit, and I'm gonna be there. So
You're
uh,
spilling out for Road America.
I haven't been there since I think 2018, 2019. I think it was before COVID. It was
It was
Pickle Boogie with
it
the
was Pickle
ugly
Boogie.
livery.
The only time we ever went with Pickle Boogie.
Yeah. Okay. So it's gotten way better since then. And
Oh, dude, it's not
I-
even it wasn't a festival then. What you don't understand is how much they poured into it to make it a festival. Like
right.
it's a full now the kart track is a constant state of drifting. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, which is kind of way over on the other side. And that's over by the stage. So, the carousel area where you're going through the
Yeah.
carousel in the back section of the track, the stage is back there. And it's got its own
Okay.
huge, amazing area to hang out in. And everybody's got room to sit in grass and hang out. And like, there's so
Yeah.
much room and it's so pretty. And
I
it's
never went back to the carousel, but it's a pretty venue. I know that.
it is. It's a
And it's
damn
large.
national park. It's absolutely incredible.
Is this one of these things where I show up and everything makes sense and I ask, why didn't this happen 10 years ago?
Yep.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the
Say no more.
answer to that is Road America is very expensive. And
Yep.
the date had to open because Road America in like April would suck. Okay. Road America in October, we could have snow. Okay. It's
Yes.
got to
It's
be the
Wisconsin. Yeah.
dead center of the summer for it to make sense. And getting
Yeah.
that date was hard, and a lot of negotiations and things had to move around, and it worked. And they're on a long-term contract for it. That doesn't mean skip. It means expect this to be around a couple years so you can experience it for years on end.
Yeah. Wow. That's really fortunate. Especially after, Road Atlanta was a bit iffy. I thought it was a great party. And then suddenly, oh, we're not coming back. And I don't want to get into that. So
It was
this
so
feels
bad.
to me like, yeah, this feels to me like the second coming of Road Atlanta, where it's a great venue. And this time it worked out great, and people love to have it.
What I'm gonna say
So
is it didn't give you Road Atlanta turned into this really crazy like outlaw rager party. This was much chiller, which is a kind of a good thing. I mean, don't get me
okay,
wrong, the stage is still the stage and a lot's going on, and if you want to experience shit, it's out there. Don't get me wrong. But
yeah,
it's the older I get, the less the rager party sounds like a great time.
yeah,
Dude,
okay,
I can understand why the state police weren't all that happy with, things that were going on at Road Atlanta. Um, how they went about fixing that problem, I don't agree with, but I understand why it was what it was. Okay.
yeah,
Um, I can, it's Road Atlanta had all of its own issues. What I can tell you is Road America doesn't. And
okay,
Road America, if you're gonna go to one event this year, Road America should be it.
okay. All right, yeah, I'm really hyped now. Yeah, you've sold me. I'm falling down the cliff now. Ain't no
Yeah.
stopping me.
Yeah. It's dude, you're gonna have a great time. I'm so stoked you're gonna be there.
Yep.
So yeah, we got that going on. Recently I was on the actually last week I was on the Perfect Lap podcast with Mark Yeager. He's kind of a Subaru Time Attack legend. Okay. He's if you guys ever want to look up what his whole thing was about, they did Hoonigan did a whole thing on his car. Was it Hoonigan? I think it was Hoonigan. They did like a build breakdown on his car, but either way, it made a whole heap of power and all sorts of shit. Like half of his car is on my car now. I don't know if you knew that, but like his rear subframe is knuckles, like all sorts of shit is on Boogie now. I ended up purchasing it when he parted out, but um him and another guy do a podcast. And they call it the Perfect Lap podcast, and it was a lot of fun. They do a kind of a visual podcast, so I had to have a camera on. So the best way to watch this is probably YouTube. But we just talked about, Time Attack in a Subaru and where we think Time Attack in the US is going and yada yada yada. And it was a lot of fun, a lot of interesting takes, a lot of talk about recent Road Atlanta stuff, and it was just a really all around good podcast. So if you guys want to check that out, definitely check that out. But one of the things we're working on doing, I've had a conversation with Abram from Grid Life, who also um, runs a website called TrackTuned. Um, w- I th- the concept I had was actually go to Grassroots Motorsports and say, look, we have all of these grassroots podcasts, like motorsports podcasts. You guys should stick them all in one spot. And then I was having a conversation about it, and then Adam Jabay hit me up because he was listening, and he goes, dude, you guys should do this on TrackTune. This is a great idea. And then Abra and I started talking, and I think what we're going to do is everybody who's kind of within this Grid Life or grassroots motorsports sphere, Time Attack, GLTC, just driver coaching, but basically grassroots motorsportsy style stuff within this sphere, which would include us and like Heat Exchanger, the other podcast I do. I think we're gonna try to get all of them on in one location on TrackTuned. Now, that doesn't mean it's gonna leave Spotify or anything else. It's just if you want to go not only find our podcast there, our Spotify link and our RSS feed will come up, and you'd be able to listen to it right there. But you'd also be able to find like Lizard Brains podcast and the Slip Angle podcast and the Perfect Lap podcast and all of these other ones are all going to be in one spot. Heat Exchanger, everything else. They're all going to be in this one. So you can maybe listen to some podcasts from different people that you haven't heard from before. And this goes back to the whole rising tide rises all boats. It's the same way. Like none of these podcasts, we're not like competing with each other. It's just putting more content out there for people to listen to. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great idea. and it should be totally on our end, should just be helping, given the RSS feed. And I think at the beginning of some of these, we might say a part of the Track 2 network or something like that, but mostly just to plug, hey, you can listen to us and listen to a bunch of other people too, which I think would be pretty sick. I don't know if I've even talked to you about that yet. What do you think about that, Warranty?
No, this is the first I'm hearing about it. I think
Yeah,
it's a great idea. I heard a little bit about the Tracktune Network, but I just get my podcast straight from Apple Podcasts.
sure.
If they just mention, if it mentioned in the episodes, like, "Hey, this is part of the Tracktune Network. You should try our other episodes." Then somebody like me can go find it, and
Yeah,
we're off to
that's
the
the whole
races.
concept. And then it's all in one spot. So it's, hey, you should check out like, especially if somebody goes, hey, can you recommend any podcasts that are kind of like this? Yeah, go check out the Tracktune. Go to tracktune.com and click on podcasts. You know what I mean? And you're gonna see all the different ones. And then you, not only that, you might even be able to get a little bit of an explanation of what these podcasts are about. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a little
Yep.
splash page kind of thing. So you can go, well, these guys tend to focus, like the IAG Thursday thing is going to be super focused on very Subaru oriented things. And if you're a Honda guy, this might not be your spot. Okay. And, heat
Yep.
exchanger is going to be like, we're trying to stir up drama and, maybe you're not about drama. So like avoid that one. But if you're like Lizard Brains is really about driving. It's very driver mentality focused. It is not a car podcast. And it doesn't fall under like automotive like this does. So like I think more people should listen to that, even if they tend to be more on the build side of stuff. They should really listen to that podcast. And that would be a great, maybe you get introduced to that through this. Maybe you're an IAG Thursday thing listener, and then you get to listen to Lizard Brains and learn a whole bunch of new stuff. Your brain expands, you meet new people, the network grows, I think it's just the best thing ever personally.
Yep. I agree. I can't keep track of all these podcasts you're on now, so I'm happy
Dude,
to hear it's going into one place.
dude, I every other, Garage Heroes in Training, they pulled me on the other day, and then we've got, the Perfect Lap podcast and Heat Exchangers I'm on every week, but like
Yeah.
like there's always
I,
something
I
going on
think
with a podcast.
I think this is how you get elected. You start a podcast and then you get discovered and other people invite you on their podcast and then eventually you get elected for public office.
Yes, that's in 20, I don't know, whatever, 30 something, maybe I'm going to run for office.
Yep.
I'm almost
Great
getting to
success.
the age real quick. So,
Yep. All right. So what else we got on the list? Just the odds and
honestly,
ends right now.
that's kind of it. Yeah, that's what I got. You got any other odds and ends you want to add? Because I think that's pretty much all I got. We can definitely take some questions from the audience. Anybody's got anything they want to pop out there? We're definitely down to chat.
Yep.
Um,
While the questions are flowing in, just a quick plug for a Savage Geese video from a few weeks ago at this point
oh yeah,
about the WRX-TS. So I won't spoil it, but I think that he did a really good job saying this car is fine, but could be better. And I'll leave it at that. So that's kind of how we're all feeling nowadays, now that the STI has been canceled.
yeah. Didn't you say they kind of compared it directly to the Golf R?
That was the WRX GT. He mentioned it in the video, which
Yeah,
is the whole point of the automatic WRX GT was to compete with the Golf R, which makes sense, but and I need somebody like Savage Geese to say that, otherwise I won't, realize it on my own. And yeah, Golf R is a much better car, but here we are.
I don't know. To me personally, I think the WRX TS is more of a Golf R competitor. Um, Even though you got to row your own gears, I think that's the thing that's going to make it interesting. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's it's a part of its appeal. And if rowing your own gears isn't for you, then maybe the Golf R is a better option. And all of them have
Yeah.
shit differentials.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, that's the meat of the video.
Yeah.
It's a fine street car, I guess, but that's it. It's not very fun on track.
No. Nope. And but it really, I'm gonna keep saying it. I think the bones are there to make something incredible. I just the aftermarket is gonna have to pick up where Subaru doesn't want to do it now. But yeah,
Yeah, I
I've
agree.
said that a million
And I
times. That's like all this show is me bitching about wishing that that we'd get an
wishing
STI
and
VD
hoping
because it'd be so
and
good.
praying.
I either
Yeah,
want that
I
or give me the fucking Gravel Express. That's IEG Thursday thing in
okay.
me.
All right, so I too am getting older, and this is not Subaru related, but Toyota announced the new Rav4s this past week,
You
and
are
they're all hybrids
so
now. And
old.
the high end RAV4 is electric, they're plug-in hybrid, 320 horsepower, something like 50 miles on the electric motor. That's great. That is a Gravel Express, Dewey. I'm telling you, that is going to be the Gravel Express 5 years from now when Toyota decides to give their old, worn-out tech to Subaru,
I don't know,
their
man.
their their pet brand.
For a Gravel Express to be a Gravel Express, I feel like you got to row your own gears. I can't like clutch
Huh?
kick that shit in the dirt, my guy.
Yeah, well, I think you're right, but at the same time, I am not a manual purist. I just want fun cars,
That's fair.
period. And I do not want cars to be badged as fun cars and then be a letdown. I want them to be proper. So if that means an all-wheel drive hybrid system, I'm actually for it. Just get me some good torque vectoring or mechanical differentials or something that makes it real versus just fakery with a computer.
That's probably fine. If I can find a way to throw that thing around corners and slide all over the place and it puts a smile on my face, I'd probably be pretty
Yes,
okay with it.
GR RAV4 with 320 horsepower, that would be amazing. Like, that would be the Gravel Express, and people would buy it and go, "Holy shit, this is amazing." That's what I want. Well, I want it from Subaru. I want it to be, you know, Subaru has their own way of making cars. I want
So
that.
have you seen some of the stuff that they've posted up that Chris from Six Star is messing with on that project of theirs? Have we even talked about what that project is yet? Because we can now.
I don't I th yeah, I think so. I don't think we've talked about it. It's on Instagram now, so we
We
can,
can talk about it. So
and,
long story short, Six Star is working with Scott Speed. Okay. We as
amazing.
IAG are involved with this too. We're helping with the engine and some other stuff, but Six Star's putting this together. This is their baby, really. And they're helping Scott Speed make, from my understanding, don't quote me on this. I'm not sure how much of this is, because I'm on the outside of this too. Um, is essentially the ultimate street slash track car built with an '05 STI. So it's old school Subaru with a lot of like modern tech. It's going to be really good. It's going to be a very very sorted car. And then you're going to have somebody like Scott Speed driving it, so it's going to be an extraordinarily sorted car. Very excited about this build that they're putting together. If you guys are not following this, I cannot recommend it enough. They're basically taking a lot of everything they've learned about making really crazy street cars in the past, 5, 6 years. Everything that we've all learned about building time attack cars over the past 10 years or so. And, what you would want out of like a resto mod vehicle, and putting something really, really insane together. It's not going to make prestigious, insane horsepower, but it's not supposed to. It's probably only going to
You can
make a
get a
little
lot
over
of work done.
five, is what I'm thinking. Um,
That's a lot of horsepower,
well,
let's be real. You can get a lot done with 500 horsepower.
it's not an Instagram build. If it was an Instagram build, it'd be 900. You know what I mean? That's not what
Yeah.
this is built for. This is how proper can you build this? But I'm going to tell you right now, this thing's going to chase down GT3s.
Yeah, and I'm gonna love to see that. I hope that makes great content.
Yep. And Serapin Wolf's asking essentially a resto mod GD. Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be really sick. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about what they're putting together over there. That's if you guys aren't following that, you really should be. Anybody else
Yeah,
we got Adam Wood out in the Adam, how's the GC going? Is you got everything in that wagon yet? We putting together a GLTC car again. We're gonna call Adam out. I know if you guys aren't following Tanner Smedia, his GC is really coming along too. That thing is starting to look right. I'm very excited to see what he's got going on with that. So
Yep. I want to know more about the reverse engine
I
STI
don't think he's touched
because
that.
I've
What are you doing, bud?
what?
He hasn't really messed around with that too much. I'm excited about that too, but I don't
Hmm,
think he's really messed around with it all that much.
okay. Okay. Okay.
Um, Tanner's like, I heard my name. He was building an engine. Tanner, what's going on with that GC? How close are you getting? Are you going to bring that to an event here soon? I think he put a dry sump on it too. Like he's all in on this car.
That's lovely.
Yeah,
That's the way.
I'm proud of him. I'm so proud.
Yep. What else happened in the local news? Graham's got his car up and running.
Yeah,
Nasty.
tuning.
The
He's got
GR.
nasty. The 2017, I think it's 2017 Street Mod champion car
Yes.
is gonna make a comeback. The prototype for all big power street mod cars to come after it is making a comeback. Him and I bought our sequentials at the same time from Six Star,
Yep.
and
That car was in your nightmares for years because Graham skated to the 2017 championship, and then you killed yourself for 5 years trying to recreate it.
killed myself. And yeah, he he's coming back. He's got a sequential working well. It's really nice that Graham and I have a lot of really similar things in our build. We both use M-Trons, same transmissions. We have a lot of the same stuff. So a lot of the tuning concepts and things were bouncing back and forth on each other. Both of us have the Turbo Smart electric wastegates. So he's going to be running his wastegate this weekend. And then we get all that sorted out. We're probably going to swap over to that on ours right away. But since he can play with some of this stuff, we can prototype some things on our car. He can prototype stuff on his car. So it's really nice being able to work together. That goes right back to Flat Four Showdown stuff where we're all
Yep.
trying to work together. Okay. We're all trying to work together, and that's sharing information. Ooh, Adam
Yep.
Wood posted. Oh my God, that's pretty. It's getting there. He ain't ready yet, but I love seeing the progress. That looks fantastic, Adam.
Yep. That's cage. It's a nice cage. Yep. So not to
Tanner,
take away anything.
well, Tanner just
Go
said
ahead.
he's got the dry sump in his GC. He's got some Alcons for it. All right, calm down.
Boy, all right.
Save some for the rest of us.
Big stop.
Yep. And then I did see he picked up an '06 STI to start learning to tune. So that's smart. And he's gonna
Nice.
start learning some stuff. Yeah, nice. Nice.
Yeah, that's
So,
great. That's the complete package right there.
yep. Ooh.
Yep. So let's see.
Anything
Oh,
else?
Dewey. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to see you next weekend for
Yeah, you
Grid
are.
Life. I'm
Yes, you are.
hoping that it's not a complete chaos fire and everything where you get a chance to drive my car. I
Yes.
would love for you to drive the car as it sits. I'm sure it's fine. My ribs just still hurt 2.5 weeks later after my bicycle crash. So you're going to tell me I'm wrong and my car is amazing and don't change a single thing.
I don't know.
And I'm going to love
Or
it.
I'm gonna drive it and go, maybe I've got to be real, man. Coilovers are only as good as how they're set up, or maybe there is something wrong. Okay. There's a very good chance I'm gonna hop in that car and I'm gonna drive around and I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I
Yeah.
might hop in that car and go, yeah, man, something ain't right. Or maybe we need to make some adjustments or whatever. It could happen. It's not a big deal. I'm gonna drive the car.
I think you're going to say I'm completely wrong. I'm completely crazy. I think you're going to love
you're
it.
expecting that. But who knows?
Mm.
I've seen some crazy stuff. So,
Okay. Okay. And yeah, we will.
ooh, that's Scott
I
Speed.
think I'm.
That's Chris showing us some Scott Speed stuff right there. Ooh, all tubular
Oh, man, that header.
subframes. He's got that. They're doing the Roger Clark Motorsports rotated kit, so it's unequal length. So it's gonna sound rowdy. It's gonna sound very Subaru.
Yep. That's okay. So Graham went and checked. Roger Clark Motorsports stands by unequal length headers. They said in their experience, it's just fine.
Okay.
And so it's not going to rob you of horsepower or anything.
Good for
So
them.
you learn something new every day.
We can agree to disagree.
Okay. But
That's
we're
fine.
going to find out. It's sure going to sound the part.
It's gonna sound really good. I'm not gonna lie,
Yep.
but we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Yep.
And
Chris told me that they spent a lot of time keeping the front end as manageable as possible, not a lot of cutting. So
Yep.
They keep AC. It's got the traditional front mount tubing, so the J pipe going into the back of the engine.
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah, and yeah, that's
rotated.
the craziest thing too is like Scott Speed's car is keeping AC. Um, it's
I
dude,
mean,
it's
yeah.
so sick. Like I love this build so much. I
My
love it
my
so much.
favorite part of the Scott Speed build is when Chris told me that he called up a list of suppliers, sponsors, and all of them said yes.
Well, you gotta
Anything you
when
want.
you go, yeah, we're working with the former Formula One driver. You know, this guy's
It's yeah, I'm sure, but Chris, I think, doing a really good job in the front end of Six Star
oh
had a small
Chris.
part in that
Chris
too.
is yeah, Chris is doing God's work up there. You know,
Yep. Yep.
I don't know the
So
entire story, and some of it I do know I can't talk about, but I'm what I can say is I'm very happy this landed with Six Star and with Chris. Okay, he's the perfect person for this. So
yeah.
he's killing it with us. It's and the guys over at the shop, you know, Chach and Sammy and all of those guys, like it's this is really the group over there to do this is the right people. I think it's gonna turn out phenomenal. They're so good at building epic street cars right now and have plenty of track experience to like finally legitimately merge the two and build something that does both really well.
Yeah. Yeah, the header wrap looks good. I can't wait to see this car rip, to be honest. I want to, I've been there for a lot of important moments. I want to be there when Scott picks it up. That would be so
Oh yeah,
cool.
I want the look on his face. I mean, he's driven some crazy shit. You got to understand, this is the guy who pilots Project Midnight. You know, he's piloted Air Slayer. So this thing isn't, it's not going to be he's piloted Formula One cars. You know what I mean? But I
Right.
think I'm very interested to see what his response is to this, like what he says. I want to know what his take is from this because I guarantee it isn't going to be the fastest thing he's ever driven. It definitely won't be the best handling thing he's ever driven, but I bet you it's right up there with one of the most fun things he's driven.
Hmm.
So,
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I
yeah.
hope he loves it. I hope he loves it. It goes and does the thing he wants, which is, chase down Porsches.
Yep. It's mm. It's going to be good.
Too close to the sun,
That
man.
is some
Yeah,
chef's kiss shit, let me tell you.
oh man, when I heard about this, I'm like, man, I'm not surprised, but I'm
Yep.
so surprised. Like this is just cool.
All
So
of the stuff on that car is TSS fab. So the subframes and stuff like that. I want to throw another shout out to TSS Fab. They got us they got rear trailing arms for us that were a bit longer in a Looney Tunes hurry, and it completely transformed Boogie. Like the rear of this car feels so good now. Um
oh
like
yeah, I think we
they're
talked
killing
about
it.
this where the geometry was wrong for a while, and now everything is fixed because
Yeah,
they
we
they
that's
fixed it.
just it. When you mess with one thing, especially with suspension, it affects something else. And in this situation, um, I don't know if like maybe the drop knuckles screwed with it or whatever, but the our trailing arm really wasn't long enough. So it ended up kind of building a ton of anti squat into the rear. And I think I'd been driving around it this whole time, even in 23. But what ended up happening is we made some changes midway through 23, looking for more speed and to sort the car out a little bit more. And I think that's when the bouncing under power started happening. And I think it really showed its ass when we made some small changes then. It was like late 23 it started to show up and yeah, it's so much better now.
Yep. Good. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that because you were getting really frustrated and trying to fix things and it wasn't getting fixed. And
Yeah.
yeah, cannot end that way. That's for sure.
No. Yeah. Geometry is it's just understanding when you touch one thing on suspension, it is going to affect something else and you have to understand that relationship. It's something after we like sit and stared at it for a while and we realized what the problem was, we were like really annoyed by it, but it ended up taking like Mike Kojima to go, I think that's your problem, but it was a fresh set of eyes. We've been looking at it and just been like, well, this is just how it is, you overlook it. And the car worked really
Yeah.
well at one point, but it worked really well within a certain window, and the second we made a couple of other small changes that should have been positive changes, kicked it out of its window. So,
Yep.
yep. That's what's up.
1995 Imprezas, they're just not meant to have 580 horsepower.
Yep.
So
Different
these
levels of
things,
580.
different levels of 580. Yeah. So any last items from the chat? Speak now.
Yeah.
Never hold your peace.
I think they're all just like slack-jawed and all the yumminess that's showing up
All
in
the
the chat.
pictures that Chris
This
is posting.
so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris is throwing the
Yeah.
hot up in this. If you guys are wondering what we're talking about as far as chat, we record every week on Discord. Okay, so you can record this live with us, and we have a live chat going while we're recording. And we try our best to keep this and explain everything that's going on. But there are certain situations where, like this, and Chris is just dumping pictures, and we just can't keep up with it. So sometimes it's better to just listen live if you can. It's usually 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's open to anybody. Just hop in our Discord. So I'm going to stress this again. We're making a really big push on Spotify. Please, 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 please leave a comment. And if you have not subscribed on Spotify, please do that. But leaving the comment does so much for us. Please smack comments. Say whatever you want in the comments. Comment on something. It really, really helps us. Please comment on Spotify. Then share it. Share the Spotify link. It helps us out a lot. And we're trying to make a big push on Spotify because that's kind of our main platform. So yeah, if you could, let's see it. I've got pictures in there. Look at my dorky ass hanging out with somebody. Swamp Goblin. New guy, what's up? So awesome. Yeah, just please, 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 please. I cannot stress this enough. The more we do that, the more cool shit we can do. The better the guests we can bring on, the more effort we can put into this. And we want to make a better show for you. Yeah, so let's hear it. Obviously push on Spotify. How are Apple numbers? I mean, they're okay, but I gotta be real. If you guys ever want to know the breakdown, it's like 65 to 70% of our listens come from Spotify directly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's almost all Spotify. Apple is like the next largest part of it. And it's not that like, I'm trying to poo on anybody. Please comment on Apple or wherever you get your podcast. We really appreciate it. But if you can, leave us a cute little comment on Spotify. It really helps out. If you're going to put in a little extra effort and you want to help us out, that's the best way to do it.
That's the way.
So,
Cool.
yep. I think we did a show. Anybody? Yeah, everybody's just gawking at Chris's stuff right now. So, other than that weird picture of me and Swamp Goblin. But yeah. Next week, Grid Life Midwest, we're going to go out there and try to set some records. We'll probably record something there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it live. Fair warning, next week's podcast might be delayed a little bit because Grid Life Midwest is crazy. We'll do our best.
Internet there sucks.
It is so bad for internet, but we might be able to steal somebody's Sky or whatever, Skynet.
We could do it at
No.
Jeff's house.
Let's not start this bullshit with Skynet. No, Starlink.
No, we could do it at Jeff's house or somebody's hotel, and it'd be fine.
We'll come on, but then I got to leave the track, and if we're trying to set records, that's hard to do. So,
okay,
I don't get to do those sort of things. So, we're gonna
I'll bring my microphones. We'll figure it out.
I honestly, what I want to do is I want to set the mic up. I want to set the podcast setting up. I want to connect your mics to this. And I want you with a mic on a stick to poke people in the face and make them ask questions. And I think it's going to be a really good time. I think we just do it live. I think it'll be great. And we'll probably do it right from the Subi Mods booth. So should be a lot of fun. Probably have Nick on there. So I don't know. We'll see what's going on. But other than that, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. And we will catch you guys next time.